got Daisy and Hudson here at Tractor Supply. Daisy, you're getting all tangled up in your leash. Got some sirens in the back. Okay, so we had to take the sound out on the rest of the video because as we're in Tractor Supply, there's music that plays, and it's a copyright thing. So moving on from that, I'm going to voice over kind of what we're doing with Betty and what's going on. So in the beginning there, we had the sound on. You heard her bark at some people. This was right when she came out of the vehicle. She was a little head on a swivel. What's going on? Where are we? She barked at a couple people that walked by her, and I just gave her a leash correction and told her, leave it. And I had to ask her twice, and then after that, she was fine. We walked in the store. She's doing great. Now, I haven't handled Betty as much as Casey has. So in this video, this is pretty cool because you're going to watch me work her and kind of see how her confidence in me isn't as strong as it is in Casey's. Now, it's because Casey's been working with her much more. So you'll be able to see the difference, and I'll be able to kind of explain that too as the video goes on. So as we're walking up here, there's going to be this man that actually asks to pet these dogs, and I say that's okay as long as Daisy is comfortable with it. Daisy Betty. And like first we're just checking out some different items, and I'm just being funny and getting her warming up in a new environment. So it's actually one of the Tractor Supply workers. He asked to pet her, and she kind of felt uncomfortable in this aspect. So here what I'm doing is I'm having a conversation with the worker, and then I kind of just try and call her away a little bit, and then I try to hand the worker a treat to see if she would go for the treat. Now, she is total in avoidance of the worker. She's not shying away. She's just kind of like, I'm not interested. You're not my person. I'm okay with just not going up to you. Now here you have Hudson that's like, oh, I'm totally willing to go up and say hi, because he thinks people are the best thing and he just wants to say hi to everybody. Where Betty is more reserved in that aspect, and she's okay with just not saying hi, and she's more about her person. So this is just a good example of the different personalities when it comes to Hudson and Betty. And here I'm just rewarding her for just hanging out, even though she's, the guy standing there, she's not scared of him or anything. She just doesn't really care to say hi or be friendly with him, which is totally fine. I'm not going to force my dog to like somebody if she doesn't want to go say hi or anything. So here we're actually having a conversation. It's a bit of a long conversation, but this is just a good example to see how Betty reacts and responds to, we're still in this guy's space and he's not petting her, which is amazing, because that's like the worst thing that could happen is if somebody is persistent on trying to pet your dog when it doesn't want to be pet. Now here she gets a little more comfortable and she's sniffing him. That's a really good step into her space, saying like, I'm comfortable, I'll sniff you, getting more information. And then she just goes on and does her own thing. She's saying hi to Hudson, whatever. So seeing this is really cool because you get to kind of see her experience with people. She doesn't shy away. She's not terrified or anything. She just doesn't really seem to care about other people other than her own people. And she's comfortable here. She wags her tail a little bit at the guy, and then she comes up for a treat because I reward her for that. Her response is great. She's not inappropriately greeting him and jumping all over him, and she does really great. Okay, so we're actually approaching another lady that wants to say hi to Betty. Now, this one was actually a little harder for her, and I'll tell you why. If you watch the stranger's body language kind of coming at her, and she's kind of in a tight corner, like there's a bunch of stuff around her. She actually knocked down a couple things, there was a lot going on. There was actually a lot of people in that space, and she handles it well. It's just to show you kind of how she shied away a little bit because the lady crouched down and kind of came at her. So I kind of just in that situation, I just called her away and tried to get her in a space where she could freely move away from the stranger, but also we're still not leaving. And then you can see that she kind of gets more comfortable. There's a lot of people right here in this area. It's kind of tight. There's, someone with a cart, there's people walking by. And she handles it well. She just, again, she doesn't care to go up to people and be friendly as much as Hudson is. Now we went off into an aisle to work on some of her commands, and you can see this is the really good example that I was mentioning about her handler. She's not very in tune with me giving her commands, and she kind of breaks her commands and gets up. And I have to remind her a couple times to sit, but she actually, there's different distractions and things and smells and stuff like that I'm also working her through. But she also sees Casey, and she really wants to get to Casey, and you can see her kind of look back at her, looking to her for guidance. And I don't blame her for that, being that Casey was the one that's been doing the most work with her. So here we switched over, and I gave Betty over to Casey, and you can see that she actually works better for her, being that she's been her main handler. And you can see that she does the commands, she's more in tune with her, and her focus is great with Casey, which is really awesome, because this is the goal that we want with you guys when you get Betty, is so she can be super in tune with her handler and look to you for guidance and focus on you and only you for when you want to do further things with her. And the rest of this video is Casey just walking her through the store and walking her by people, but we don't stop and let them say hi. A lot of the rest of the people here just walked on by, and you can actually see that Betty was more willing to sniff those people and get information versus when she was with me. So again, she has more confidence in Casey, and as you see through the rest of this video, you'll see her pass by people and without hesitation, and she has no issues doing that or anything like that. So enjoy the rest of the video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.